All right. So I just have to have this conversation just right out of the gate because it's a weekend. I'm sitting here in my office and I just needed to get on the air and shoot this podcast with you all because it's been so under the current, and now it's become more and more obvious to me what's going on. Under the current was this mobile PT practice idea, and we'll go and we'll work out of our car and we'll bill Medicare, Part B, and we'll take some commercial carriers or whatever, or we'll just do cash, or it'll be this. And it's similar to the people that were years ago just opening up their physical therapy private practice in their gym, their local gym, and they're like, I'll just get a room or a table and pay $200, $300, $400 a month, pay as I go, blah blah blah. And what I want to ask you is, what is it that you're dreaming of? Is this what you're dreaming of? Is this mobile PT practice with a bunch of crap in your trunk, running around treating people in their living room, basically glorified home health with healthier people, higher quality, higher functioning people? Is that your dream? If that's your dream, then go ahead and stop listening and turn on somebody else. But if that's not your dream, then let me ask you, what is it that you want? Because your dreams are the envisionment, or I don't even know if that's a word. They are the creation, the visual creation, the mental creation in your mind of where you want to be. If your hopes and dreams are to achieve financial freedom, to achieve optimum time flexibility in your life, to have greater peace in your life. I tell my kids that all the time. I just want more peace. I just want peace. I don't want conflict. I don't want people having issues. I want to help people strive to reach that point in their life that they see for themselves as their ideal scene. And that ideal scene is personal to each and every one of us. My ideal scene may not be your ideal scene. Maybe you don't want to live in a county with just 10,000 people and 26 acres. Maybe you want to live in a metropolitan area where every ethnic restaurant is like walking distance from your door. That's awesome. There's a lot to be said for all of those things. It's your life. You have to live your life. So let me ask you, the question is, what is your ideal scene? So let's start with that. Because where I'm going with this is, I'm seeing way too many people, and it was kind of cute and funny, 4 or 5 years ago, starting mobile PT practices, 400 square foot, 800 square foot, not even size rooms in God knows where, gym, a Pilates studio, a friend's chiropractor's office, and whatever. And they're in private practice, quote unquote, private practice. Well, I got to ask you, are you really? Are you in private practice, or have you created a job for yourself? Because creating a job for yourself is fine. Maybe you went from $80,000 a year to $100,000 a year. That's great. Maybe you're even at $115,000. But I can tell you, whether you're making $70,000 or $130,000, none of that's going to change your life. Anywhere in that area, maybe you might drive the LX model of your Honda Accord, or the SE model of your Toyota Camry, but you're not driving that Tesla Model S or whatever it is that your goal is for you. If it is that, or dreaming of driving a luxury car, maybe it's dreaming of having $100,000 in your bank account and be able to self-fund yourself to do different, investment projects, passive income, maybe some rental properties or something like that. All of this is what we all are dealing with on a daily basis. We're raising children, we're paying our mortgages, we're paying the inflated price of food and gas and everything else that's in our environment. We're trying to save for retirement, we're trying to save for our kids' colleges, and we're trying to also have work-life balance. We're trying to keep our spouses happy, we're trying to have time with them, we're trying to have time with the kids, we're trying to have time for ourselves. I want to work in harder on having a healthier body. I'd like to go to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week instead of 1 to 2 times a week. All of these things, right? All of these dynamics, my self-dynamic, my dynamic with my loving spouse or partner, my dynamic with my family, extended or nuclear, my dynamic with my community. I want to do more charity stuff. I want to give back more to me. All of these things race through my head all the time. I'm constantly striving. Like next week, I'm going to go do a free talk at the senior center. I just reached out and said, hey, I'm here. I live in this county and I want to give back to the community. What can I do? I'm doing charity events with my local businesses here in town. It's not just about Meg. It's not just about my main my main income driver or my main purpose in life, which is to help physical therapists live the life they've always envisioned for themselves and help advance the profession of PT. And I'm doing that through Meg, and I'm doing that through all of our 4 income verticals, our credentialing, our billing, our virtual front desk services, our data migration. We'll move people from one EMR system to another. So we can do all of these things, obviously our coaching to help you. And that's why I'm talking to you, because I feel like something's being leapfrogged. It's being missed. It's being hopped over. People are finding that they're listening to podcasts like this or other people who are consultants. I'm not a consultant. I'm a practice coach and a personal entrepreneur for your business and professional development, your professional and personal development, I meant to say. So that if that is the essence of my beingness and why I'm here and why you're listening to me, then I'm noticing this leapfrog. I'm noticing people are like, I'm leaving my job, I'm going into business, and they're being able to put a little business license on their office at home, and they're doing mobile PT or they're doing these small little offices, but they're not living a better life. They're not living a better life. They're free from being an employee. They've made that step. Yeah, so you went and you did the 4 basic steps. You went and got your articles of incorporation. You went to the bank. You submitted them, and you got a business bank account. And then you went ahead and set up some sort of billing and accounting software, QuickBooks, and some sort of EMR simple, program. Probably if you're really small, you pick something cheesy and cheap. And then you try to exchange in abundance with each and every patient, each and every opportunity you can so that you make more money than you spend, which is not that hard to do when you're just a solo person running around doing mobile PT with a bunch of stuff in your trunk, or you're just going to a 600 square foot space leased or rented on a month-to-month basis. But has your life changed? Are you living a better life? Are you taking more time for yourself? Are you physically healthier? Are you eating better? Are you spending more time with your spouse and your children? Are you creating something for them? Are you creating in your community? Are you exchanging in abundance in some way with your environment? I would be beside myself if all I did was put everything I could into the RV of Meg, of everything I had, every ounce of thought, energy, effort, ingenuity, creativity, just in my one vertical of life, my income vertical of life. Nobody will see a Brinks truck following a hearse when that day comes. It doesn't happen. It doesn't go with you. You have to give on all of your dynamics back to those that you love most and care about most, which is why we became physical therapists, which is humanity, right? I mean, obviously, that's why I do what I do at 55 years old. I hope that's why you do what you do. It's not about me. Let's talk about you. This is why you became a physical therapist, right? To be greater in the depth and scope of humanity, to be able to exchange in abundance with more people. Isn't that why you want to be more clinically efficient? If you're a clinical manager or director and you're running therapists, don't you want to see them see, instead of 40 patients a week, 50 patients a week, 60 patients a week, and still give high quality care and exchange in abundance and see the outcomes be well beyond what you've ever expected, because you've created an environment in which that can be done. And that is what I'm talking about. The reality is, step back. I've had 3 calls in 2 weeks of people, and it's been happening more and more, but when I got this many, like in a short period of time, it finally dawned on me what it is happening. People are risk averse. I'm not saying you are, maybe you're not, but I'm finding there's a 30% group of people, of the people who want to go into private practice, who really want to go into private practice, but they're not willing to commit the money. They're not willing to invest in themselves personally and professionally enough to actually do it. They'll watch free stuff on YouTube or listen to podcasts like this or read a book, but that's not going to develop their skills. It's going to give them bright ideas. It's going to give you thought-provoking things to consider, but it's not going to develop your skills. They're risk averse. They're not willing to invest the time. They're not willing to sit there and sit down with their spouse and say, honey, you know what? Or husband, you know what? Or partner, you know what? For the next 6 to 18 months, life's going to be a little upside down. I'm going to miss some dinners. I'm going to have to do some stuff on the weekend. I'm going to need you to pick up a little bit more here at home because I'm going to be entrepreneurially starting a business that is going to come back and exchange with us 10 times over throughout the course of our life together and throughout the course of raising our children and having life. Don't ride me. Don't give me a hard time. Don't stress me out when I'm sitting there late at night at 10 o'clock finishing notes and completing documentation, because it will happen. I will have periods of that. Now, I am going to spend some money, $10,000, $15,000, whatever it may be, probably nothing more than that. And I'm going to invest in how to become an entrepreneur, CEO, CFO, COO, clinical director, recruiting officer, manager, compliance officer, because I didn't get any of that in PT school. I didn't get any of that. So don't give me a hard time when I take money out of savings and I invest in an academy, or whether it be ours or somebody else's. You invest in something to give yourself the skill development, the knowledge needed to succeed in private practice, wearing the hat of an owner, because you're already wearing the hat of a therapist. You don't have to become a better therapist. You got to become a better owner. Gain your spouse's agreement to these things first, because otherwise you're going to be hearing it, because they're going to be like, what did you do? We're making less money. We see less of you. You're working harder and longer. There's less fun going on around here. You know, it's kind of like if you went back to med school and you went into, you know, your residencies. It's the same thing. You know, I'm in school. I am doing my residency. I am becoming a doctor. I am going to be something bigger and better and bolder than what I am now. You know, it's what I got to do. I'm just having this heart-to-heart with you guys because people are gravitating toward this path of least resistance, this risk-averse option or avenue. And if it's a stepping stone to something bigger and having your bricks and mortar and having your private practice with 5, 6, 7, 10 people working underneath of you, maybe 1 or 2 offices, maybe just 1 office, 2,100 square feet, 1,800 square feet, 1,500 square feet or greater, and you're actually living the life in a 6-figure means where you have more time and freedom for yourself and for your spouse and for your children and for your community, and then you're living the dream because you've grown professionally by doing something like wearing your CEO, CFO hat, and you've grown personally because you've gained skills and knowledge and ability to better communicate, gain agreement, bring about understanding, see others around you flourishing and prospering because of what you've done. Physical therapy private practice is very simple to be successful. It goes in this step. Once you've set up the logistics of your business, it's environment, establish the absolute best, most efficient environment, 5 divisional structure. Everybody's in their lane. There's divisional heads in each one of those. One person can wear more than one divisional head. Personnel, that's the tricky one. How do we actually get the work ethic back in this workforce in this day and age and get people to actually align and forward our purpose? And last, systems of operation. What are the absolute best systems of operation, best tools, best things to use? Nobody has that knowledge or those abilities or those tools or those skills as a staff therapist looking out the window of I want to go into private practice. Nobody had clinical skills when you were a high school student and you were looking at college going, I want to be a physical therapist. You couldn't just go from high school to physical therapy and do school at the same time. Boy, that would be murder, right? You'd be like hurting people and you'd be like stressed out and you're learning as you go. That's not how you go into private practice. You invest in yourself and then you do it. Invest in yourself and do it. You owe it to yourself. You deserve it. That's my message for this week's podcast. I know it's short, but I just want to have this heart-to-heart as we go into 2024. Please invest in yourself personally and professionally. Please commit to your true goals, your true dreams. Don't water them down. Don't be, nervous Nelly. Don't be scared and taking risk-averse avenues. You're going to work harder and longer, and you're not going to live the dream. I am meeting more and more people over the last 5 years who've started these things, and they're just sitting right there at this mediocre income. It's not horrible. It's not bad. They can't take vacations. They don't get paid when they don't get back. Stressed with the income that they're having because the expenses are going up, but the revenue for their services is not, because they can't scale it. It's not very easily scalable. Now, some people have figured out. Mike Gorman is awesome at this. He's fabulous. He's got a whole franchise on how to scale mobile PT. I'm a big fan, big support. He's a good friend. He has made that into like a private practice model in a separate environment, but it's not easy. Not many people do it. I'd say 2 out of 10 are doing that very successfully, and without guidance and help and direction from someone like Mike Gorman, which we'll put the link below and we'll definitely help share that with those of you who are looking for that. That's great. But that's got to be your end game. That's got to be your goal, your dream. That's what I want. I want to put everything in the kitchen sink invested in that. If that's it, then go for it. But most of you, that's not it. You want to have it. You dream of a day of having a private practice. You dream of a day of having people working with you and for you and around you. And you dream of having that work-life balance and living the dream healthy on yourself, for your spouse, your relationships, your children, your community, and the profession of physical therapy. That's why I did it. That's why I went into it. That's why I'm talking to you now. I want to help you do that. That's how we won Practice of the Year in 2011. Seems like eons ago. I can help you get there. You just got to help yourself. Step 1, admit we just didn't get this training in PT school, and you got to do something about it now. Stop hoping. Stop wondering. Stop wishing for it. Do it. Do something about it. Think it, then do it. Thought, action, function, results. That's my message for you. That's my entrepreneur step 1 on how to succeed in being a physical therapist in private practice. As always, start each and every day, guys, expecting to do well.